Hello and welcome to this week's Table Talk. Yes, it's come round again. My name is Jason and this is Model Kit Stuff. Music! Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Table Talk. We are tantalisingly close to the big 6,000 lovely people that subscribe to this channel. I record this at a Friday lunchtime. It goes out on a Saturday, and as I record this, I'm at 5,901 subscribers. So I suspect at some point in the next couple of weeks, we should hit the 6,000 subscribers. And when we do, we'll do a little something. What that will be, I don't know, but I think we need to mark 6,000. So as a channel now, we are rapidly getting towards 3 years old. We'll be 3 years old in November, so what are we, 2.5 years old, something like that. We're managing nearly 30,000 views a month on average. So that's incredible. That's incredible. I'm still getting comments from some of my very early videos, and it's strange because sometimes I get a comment on a video that I put out 2 years ago, and then a day or two later I'll get another comment on the same one, and then you won't hear anything for months. So I did a video very early on, nearly 2.5 years ago, on how to separate parts that you've glued together with liquid poly glue, and I still get a fairly steady flow of comments from that, and people saying, oh my god, that's helped me out. So it's brilliant leaving those videos up there for people to access over time. We get more and more people involved in the Model Kit Stuff and its community, which is brilliant. We now have quite a nice little number of regulars who are talking to me regular through the comments on the channel. Some people drop me emails as well, so I get all sorts of communication, and it is genuinely lovely. I enjoy it an awful lot. So a massive thank you to all of you that subscribe, and especially those of you that subscribed over the last week since the last Table Talk. If you've not seen a Table Talk video before, then what we do is we recap the week that's just gone, talk about how that went, talk about what's coming up in the immediate week coming. Sometimes we talk about some plans that are a little bit further down the pipeline, and then we talk about what's been happening on the desk, which sometimes you won't see in a video for 2-3 weeks maybe. So just gives you a good feel for what's going on and keeps your finger on the pulse. So if you're interested in certain builds and where they're going and what's coming next, this is the place to be. So we started the week with the Panzer IV Eduard Etch upgrade set for the Mini Art Panzer IV. So it's all exterior, so it's not necessarily just for the interior Panzer IV. I have one. If you might remember, I did a first impressions video a little while ago of the Mini Art Panzer IV full interior with Field Workshop diorama set that they did, and Robert Rims Models built it, and then Bob at Greybeards Models, that's right, I knew I'd remember in a sec, at Greybeards Models used elements of it in one of his dioramas, which I don't think is finished as yet. I've never started the model, I've just done a first impressions, but one of the things that I took away from it, I mean, it's a beautiful kit, but the spaced armour around the turret would benefit from being replaced with etch just to thin it down, and that set does that, and that's primarily why I bought it. But as we had it, I thought we'd do a review on we will be doing more etch sets reviews over the coming weeks. I've got all sorts of bits and pieces that we can look at, and that will keep the Monday slot going, because I've not got a lot of tools and products to review. And when I do review them, as I've said before, it tends to be when I'm doing something within a build that prompts me to be able to do that and have everything to hand and be set up. Having said that, this week I made a purchase, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Okay, so after Monday, you had a short wait to the highlight of the week, which was surely the Dukes of Hazzard Dodge Charger. What a beautiful, beautiful model that's going to be. When it's built up, it's going to be stunning. I've been after one of those for years. You could see how much I enjoyed it. You know, it's a 1969 kit. It's older than me, and it's showing its age more than I am as well, which I'm pleased to say, to be quite honest. But yeah, it was exactly what I was expecting to find in there. You know, I have built one or two old car kits before in the past, and after I said, well, I don't think I've really ever built an AMT kit, I thought actually the ZZ Top Eliminator, that might have been an AMT. And many years ago, when I was 18, 19, I built a Ford 1956 Thunderbird with the porthole windows in the hardtop convertible roof, which was a lovely kit. I did it in metallic blue, I seem to remember, and that might have been an AMT, but I don't really remember. But it was sort of familiar. You know, and I've seen lots of people building cars on YouTube. It's a great place to see modelers in action, you know. So that's what came. Not everyone's cup of tea, didn't get as many views as some other stuff does, and I guess even though it was a first impressions from my point of view, lots of other people know the kit. Someone pointed out to me it's been released in all sorts of different formats, so lots of people will have come across the kit, and I understand that. And a big thank you to the subscriber that pointed out that Hero Boy have a specific paint for the Dukes of Hazzard orange. So I might see if I can match it, and that might be the solution. We'll come back to it in a minute, I promise, honestly. So that was this week, and then we got to the Friday, and as those of you who've been subscribed for a while know, on a Friday, 9 o'clock, my build video goes out and it has live chat. It's a premiere, so people that are subscribed to the channel come along, say hello, everyone has a chat with each other. We find out what the weather's doing in different parts of the world. Watch the video, people make some comments on the video, or maybe talking about someone else's video. It's just a nice sense of catching up with people. For some of us, we only catch up with each other once a week. Others of us come across each other during the week in different aspects, and a number of them have channels, so it's a good way of networking as well. So that was yesterday. There's going to be one more video, definitely, possibly one and a short video. I keep thinking I'm nearly done with this, and then when I get the content in, I go, blimey, you'll be surprised. So the next go-to video, which will be next week, so I'm jumping ahead of myself here, that's just going to focus on the engine, and I put all the video footage of the engine into the video ready for editing, and I've got nearly 5 hours of footage to edit, just building and painting. Most of it painting, to be honest. So and I have to cut that down to about an hour, and I don't really want it to be 2 videos, so it's a lot of hack and slash to get it into something presentable for you guys. So you'd be surprised how much material I've still got on the fire engine to work through. But there you have it, next installment of the fire engine done. There's at least one more, and possibly one and then a small one that we might chuck out on a Wednesday or something. So there you go. That was this week. So as we've already started talking about it, let's talk about what's coming up this week. Okay, so on Monday we have a sort of build review. Airfix are about to re-release their Sea Fury kit, and I built it. It was actually my first ever 1:48 scale aircraft build ever of all time, which I built 3 years ago when it was last released, I think. And yeah, I built it up, and it actually builds up really nicely. And I had some video footage and some photographs from that build lying around. Not a full build by any means, but I could put together a little short video which gives you a taste of what you will get in the Sea Fury kit when it gets re-released. And like I say, it's a nice kit, and for a 1:48 fighter, it's a whopping big aircraft. So that's what's coming out on Monday, a build video on that, a bit like we did with the Walrus Silver Wings a little while ago, which proved very popular, but and the Ark Royal. It's just a quick jog through what I've got left of what I did on that. Then on Wednesday, we've got another Copper State Models 132 scale aircraft. Some of you have already seen glimpses of this because it's the kit that we used in the comparison video with the Wingnut wings. So it's the Newport, but we're doing a full dive into that, the usual style. And then on Friday, it will be GOTA 9, which will be building up the engines. So there's 2 engines on there. I show you one, and the other one's done off camera. It's all done at the same time, in fairness. So we take you through the whole process. As I've always said with that build, it's a detailed build, everything step by step. There's nothing you're going to miss. There's nothing I'm going to do behind the scenes and go, oh, and I did this, like I sometimes do with other builds. You see everything. So you'll see it being built. I don't show you the cleanup, in fairness, because there's only so much sanding and stuff you can see, but you see it all being glued together, and then when it's assembled into as many parts as can be, it gets painted up. Then it gets fully assembled, then it gets detail painted and final assembled and varnished, and decals as well. So you get the whole caboodle in one video, or you will do, hopefully, because I haven't finished actually hacking that one together. Like I say, 5 hours of material to turn into a hour-long video. So that is what's coming up next week. So I was going to say, do you want to have a look in the garden? But you're getting impatient about this, I can tell. All right, then, let's talk about this. What is it? I mean, it looks a little bit odd. It's not Lego. This is an ICM paint set, believe it or not. And it's called 80 Colour, which is a little misleading because there's only 77 colours in it. The other 3 are varnishes. So really it should be 80 pots. But yeah, I got this week, and it's an utter bargain. I think I ordered it on the Friday last week, and I got it sort of Wednesday this week. So I bought this in the UK for, I'm gonna say £62.99 plus shipping off the top of my head. So you're working out at about 70p a pot, and you get I think it's 14 or 15 mils of paint. So you get in way more than you get in a Tamiya pot, and a bit less than you're getting in a Vallejo pot. It's the same as Humbrol, so it is 14 mils. So there you go, acrylic paints, a set of 80. I don't know whether it's the full range, but I also had an ICM paint set for the Ghost of Kiev kit, and I double checked, and everything that was in that set is already in here as well, so I've doubled up on those. It's a lovely set, and I'm going to do several videos on this. So the first video will be out next week. Sorry, not next week, the week after. And we'll be in the Monday slot, and we'll just review what you get in the box, how it all comes, and so on. Then I'm going to do a brush paint review. Then I'm going to do an airbrush review. And then we're going to have a look at the metallics that are in there, and then we're going to have a look at the clears. And there's some clears in there that I've not had before. That I even question what the need of a clear in that colour is. But I think it's a really nice set, so look out for that. It'll be a week on Monday when you see the first part of that, and then I'm going to be having a little bit of a mess around, so possibly this weekend I'll get the Ghost of Kiev kit out, and which is ready for painting as it happens, and do some airbrushing. It says you can thin this with water, which is really handy because I cannot find the thinners in the UK for love nor money. I also can't find them as separate paints, but we'll talk about that in the video a week on Monday. So yeah, it's really good value. It's yet another paint system I bought into. I'm terrible, but it all makes for good videos, doesn't it? So yeah, I'm really pleased with this. It's a nice offering, and what they do is they print all the colours around the edges of the boxes. So I'm going to cut that off, and I've got some little swatches then, which I can then use for colour matching and stuff. I'm also going to colour match it with paints I've already got and cross-reference it on my paint inventory spreadsheet. So for those of you that don't know, I have a spreadsheet which keeps stock and track of all of my paints, and it's based on the Humbrol range because I have pretty much all the Humbrol paints. I've either in enamel or acrylic. I don't generally have both of all of them. Some of them I do. So what I'll do is I'll cross-reference with the Humbrol. So if I've not got Humbrol 33, I know I can use acrylic 1007 or whatever the number is in there. There's not quite the range of paints that you'd get from the big, well-established brands like Vallejo, where they've got 15 different types of black. You know, you get two. You get a black, you get a rubber black, and that's it. But there's a big range of greys, blues, and greens. Nice range of metallics, including some really cool looking metallic colours. So that's why I want to break them up a little bit. So several videos. One will be on brush painting and thinning. One will be on airbrush and thinning. We'll trial it. We'll see how we go. Pluses, minuses, thoughts. We'll do the metallics separately and see how they behave, and see how they thin and what they look like when they're dried. You know, we'll varnish them and see how they behave with their own varnishes, and just have a proper deep dive. So several Mondays of ICM paints coming up, so that'll be fun. I also got a new tool in the same delivery, which is this bad boy here, bending plier. Now I already have a set of Tamiya bending pliers, but it's the short nose ones. And I've got to say, I use them quite a bit. I find them really handy. There is an issue with these though. And from having a quick look at these have got the same issue. So I bought them because we're going to do the Scharnhorst 1200. I'm going to have some bigger things for folding. But I'm going to do a tool review on that and talk you through the shortcomings of it. Both of these have a slight design flaw, and we'll have a chat about those. Having said that, do they stand up well to other methods of bending, i.e. using a steel rule or using a press and fold tool, a hold and fold tool, whatever you want to call it? We'll talk about all of that when we review the tool. So that was my other purchase that arrived this week. So it was model kits last week, it's products and things this week. I better not buy anything next week or I might get in trouble. But we also did some building this week, and as everyone knows, I do one model for a week, start it at the weekend, work through that week. The following week, a weekend, I swap to the next one, and that's how I keep my two builds running. And last weekend we got back onto the Queen Mary 2, so let's show you the progress. So this week I only really got any modelling done at the weekend, and with us having the granddaughter on the Saturday and what have you, I didn't get as much modelling done as I'd have liked, to be honest. But what we did is we focused on railings along here and the funnel section. So if I just get something pointy to point with, you won't be able to see too closely, but when you get the video you'll see it. We've put railings on at the front here on this little platform deck, and some ladders on the outside there. I do also need to add a platform that's not included in the etch set. And we put railings and ladders on the end here, and we've put clocks on at each end. So that's starting to super detail this area. There is also railings gone on here. We've not put the crane on there yet, but I've got some wooden boxes and bits and pieces to go on there, and some other bits and pieces. And then I need to have a look at whether I'm putting the railing on before or after I put the lifeboats on. So that's what we did with that section, and then we focused on the funnel. So you can see that the funnels, the black center section of the funnel is all done and varnished, or clear coated I should say, and all done. And then I wanted to check out the paint system that we agreed was the right colour, Stephen and myself, for Cunard Red, because it is a particular colour. If you've watched some of the early videos, he talks specifically about how it came to be that we had this Cunard Red colour, and it's worked well on the white. So I've applied it without primer with an airbrush onto the wind scoops, and it looks absolutely stunning. Now I've got to put a couple of black stripes on here. So if I lift this out, you'll see, the actual kit part has raised lumps on it which are wrong. So I took them off, masked it off, painted it black, sealed it all up, masked it off, and I put the first red over it just to see how well it would cover, and the answer is not brilliantly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to repaint this white, leaving the masking tape strips on that are currently on where you can see the black lines, and then we'll go back over it with the carmine red, and it should look lovely then. So that was the progress on the funnel, and then the bit that took the most of the weekend, and it took me pretty much, well, I did it over 2 days because I needed the paint to dry, but it was all of Sunday morning and most of Saturday evening, and that was painting that. So that's moulded in to the side of this piece, but it's two colours, believe it or not. So what you're seeing front on is black, jet black, like the funnel centre. But when you look side on, you can just about see there's a different colour. Now, I've used gunmetal. I think it's probably steel or something like that. But gunmetal gives it a slightly darker look, like it's got a bit of shadow. But when you see the pictures on the real ship, and Stephen had been at pains to point this out to me, you've got this silver metal side and a black face, and I wanted to capture that. A lot of modelers I see just paint the whole thing black, and it's wrong, and it looks wrong. It makes the letters look too thick. So when you paint it correctly, it looks correct, surprisingly. So yeah, but it took hours, and then when we'd done it, we had a little bit of touch up with the white to do, and that took 3 coats to hide. Inevitably, it's the black you get on the white, isn't it? So yeah, that took so long, you would not believe it. It took most of my weekend, because the photo etch railings, you can just whip them off, can't you? And whip them off, bend them. I tend to glue them in and paint them once they're glued in. I find that easier. So yeah, what I did find is the paint that I intended to use for the railings didn't work very well, and the paint that I'm using for the rest of the structure isn't working well. So I've got to come up with a different paint for the railings, which is probably going to be, I wasn't happy when I did those that the paint was adhering particularly well, and I was using lots of coats, and then you're going to lose the detail. So I'm probably going to go to my old favourite Humbrol enamels just to to finish that off. But anyway, going down really, really nicely. So yeah, happy with it, and that's where we've got to with that. So this weekend we'll be jumping back onto the Gota, where we will be putting the decals on the wings, sealing the wings, clear coating them up, finally drilling out the holes ready for the dead eyes for the rigging, and then we'll be starting assembly, which is putting all the spars in. So that's this weekend. Right, shall we have a quick look at the garden? It's all action, and I've got some new news. Let's have a look. So, breaking news in the garden. Our first tomato. Now you can see there's a little baby one next to it. One or two forming. We've got some forming on this other plant as well, so we're doing well there. You can see more there, so we're definitely going to get some tomatoes, some shape or form. Spring onions are looking good. We also have our first red strawberries. The blackbirds have been hopping around, so I'm going to net those this weekend. This is a little behind, but we've got strawberries forming on there as well, and the French beans are starting to go mad, so I'm going to unnet it this weekend, let it go free. You can see we will get some beans, so that's good. And the leeks, we're going to get some nice baby leeks I think this year off those. Looking good. Rest of the garden, doesn't that hosta look amazing? So particularly like, if you remember, I think a couple of weeks ago I showed you these and they were dark purple. Now look at them, aren't they pretty? So just as these are going over, we're starting to see some of the red flowers coming out. We'll have loads of these at the back here, so all looking good. And plum pudding is flowering too, so all very good. Our clematis here is growing well. I need to do some tying that up at the weekend. So yeah, garden's in full swing. There is something quite satisfying about growing your own tomato. Don't know what it is, but I know it's going to taste better than anything I'm buying in the shops. I know exactly what it's been sprayed with, which is nothing. It's fully organic. So I'm looking forward to having some tomatoes. I hope we keep getting the sunshine. This weekend's going to be 30 degrees. So the only problem with that is that might cause me some issues with painting the Gota. In which case, I'll be jumping back onto the Beaufight, where I can hand paint that and maybe do some of the ICM stuff with the hand painting and things, but airbrushing is gonna be a no-no unless I get up super early, which well, I might do. You know what, I think that is it for this week. Plenty going on. It feels like we're edging closer to the end of the Gota build, so that's good. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll hit the 6,000 mark, and then we'll get all you subscribers that want to get involved in the channel a little bit involved. And I think the more I think about it, I know what we're going to do. So anyway, there we go, 6,000 subscribers coming soon. I am massively grateful to each and every one of you. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Thank you for all the likes, for all the comments. Oh, one more thing. I did say there was going to be a Meet the Creator live. I must tell you that that's been postponed. The person has an event coming up, and we don't know exactly when that event's going to happen. And quite rightly, he said, let's get that event out of the way so that I can focus on what we're doing. So that's been postponed for a little bit. So if you were waiting to see who this is going to be. I'm not quite ready to announce that, but it will be totally awesome when it comes. So yeah, watch this space. Get back onto Table Talk next week, because we'll be that much closer to 6,000 subscribers, and I'm most likely to be talking about what we might do. Okay, with that in mind, have a great week. You enjoy your modelling, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.